Oh, the Axel trailer's released. Axel F. Bit of a weird title, to be fair. Axel F for Netflix. I hate seeing the fact it's a Netflix thing in the corner. That was weird as well.
That was the
What
part.
did you guys think of the trailer? I'm going to sort of bow out of this as a conversation overall, just because I don't have a lot to say on it. I thought it was okay. It's nice to see Eddie Murphy back in stuff. The guy was on top of the world at one point. You know, bloody singing, dancing, everything, comedian, movies, etc. Now he's just back in movies again. So
picking up transvestites in LA.
He was giving her a ride home, Bo.
Sorry. Of course.
Hey,
it's an old long story.
All I know is that he looks less puffy. So,
trailer discuss.
Culture. Okay, well, culture. Were you even on the show when I broke down? Because I actually talked to somebody who saw a screening of this movie. So I broke down the entire movie.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, you remember? Okay, I was just curious if you were there.
Yeah.
And I remember you talking about the breakdown, Tom, and I was looking for what you were saying, how this was going to play out. And man, they stayed away from a lot of that in this trailer.
No, but this also backs up a lot of the stuff I leaked too.
Yeah, because you only see stuff with his daughter in a couple clips. For the majority of it is all the original people from the first two movies.
Well, it's because, not to get too spoilery, like she is a part of it, but a lot of his time is spent with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character.
I think
like that's the thing, is she's like estranged. Yeah.
Good
what was that? Sorry, H.
It's good to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I really like him as an actor. Actually,
I think he's great. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the worst thing he ever did was that Don Juan or John Juan or whatever the film was. I think that was a step back.
That one that he made himself.
It was very bad. But back to it. So I thought the trailer was okay. I still think there's a bait and switch in here, but I guess we'll find out. And if they lean too heavy into the daughter, I'm gonna pull back on it a bit. I do like the idea that you get to see all the old guys together again, except for obviously the one that passed away. And I think some of the cameos are going to be a nice payoff as well. So overall, I think the trailer was effective, and if not a little depressing, for obviously being a Netflix film. So they're
it's so weird that it's under Netflix.
And Kevin Bacon in it. I didn't know he was even in it till I saw the trailer.
Yeah, I did.
He's definitely going to be the villain.
He is. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It's pretty obvious.
Well, and that's the thing, is we're not really going to get to see all the old gang together on screen all that much, so don't get that hope up.
What did you think of the trailer then, Tom?
Let's hear both first, because yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I watched the trailer and I didn't see Judge Reinhold.
He's in it.
He's in it. He's going to be in it.
He's the catalyst for the story.
Yeah. He looks very different, though.
Yeah, he looks very old now.
He looks rough. Rough is a better way to put it. Yeah.
I really liked Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. Again, in my childhood, they were cool movies. They like Axel Foley was cool in the 80s or the early 90s or whatever it was. Now, so much Eddie Murphy's, what is he, 63? Again, he doesn't look it. He doesn't look that old, but he is old now. This is another one of those films, a bit like Beetlejuice. Am I going to go and pay money to see it at the cinema and take an evening out of my life? No way. When it comes on TV, I'll happily sit there and watch it, even if it's a bit poo. I'll happily sit there and be like, okay, go on then. Let's have some member berries.
Which I think is why it's on Netflix, Bo.
Oh, it's not even. Oh, okay. It's not even going to be a
Netflix movie.
Which I can't believe Paramount did it, but they made this is how Paramount guaranteed their profit on this movie.
So Paramount made it and then sold it to Netflix. Is that
well, what they did is it was kind of like they sold the rights to Netflix to distribute Beverly Hills Cop 4 and a possible 5.
So who made it? Paramount or Netflix?
Paramount technically made it, so it was like a negative pickup for Netflix. Do you know what that means? Okay. Yeah. So basically, I don't know exactly who paid what money up front. Chances are they probably spent about $50 million on the movie, and Netflix paid probably like 80 to 100 million, I think. So they probably pocketed $40-50 million profit already. That would be my guess. Maybe they spent a little more, but I doubt it. Unless Culture has anything else on that. That's my understanding. It was the same kind of deal they did with Coming to America.
Yeah.
God.
I look, for what it's worth, I think that this is one of those that should have probably been left alone. You know, I mean, unlike Tom, I'm not going to go as hard in the paint on that. I'm just going to say that, you know, you pass on these cultural gems by adding to the previous gem if you can, and you stop when you make poo. And you know,
which is kind of what happened with 3. Yeah,
yeah. And so I'm looking at this one going, yeah, this isn't going to go in the theater for a good reason. So yeah, I think you stop when you make poo. So,
and I'm going to surprise everybody, even though I know what this movie's about. I know the beginning, middle, and end. I know the entire plot. The first trailer I thought was not very good. This trailer made me fucking laugh a few times. And I was like, Eddie's back. I hope this is what the movie more is, but like Culture said, I unfortunately know there's kind of something they're not telling us here, because there is, unless things could have changed, because this screening happened almost a year ago. So this movie's been done for a while too. That's the other thing. And in that version, his daughter does come into play into the sequences where she tries to do things like her dad did in the first film, and the person who saw it said that shit landed horribly. He said all the Eddie stuff was great, all the cameos were great, all the other guys were great, the plot was fine, but he said that daughter is trying too hard to be Axel's daughter.
Well, let me ask you this then.
And she's only in this trailer for the first time. They didn't even show her in the last trailer hardly.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this then. So when was the deal with Netflix done? Was that a more recent thing or not?
No, I think it was done in 2020. It was before the movie was shot. So like it was always meant to be a straight to Netflix film. So this was never like a thing that was going to go to theaters.
They wouldn't have changed anything then. I guarantee you they've not changed anything.
Probably Paramount not. It was a test screening. Well, it was a test screening.
This will be the last movie. They're never going to make another one. Paramount's made their money. They don't care. It's sold to Netflix. They've got their money. They don't give a shit. I guarantee you, I bet you anything, that test screening was probably designed on how they could sell it in a trailer. So that's probably
possibly very possible. I mean, he did tell me some of the questions and stuff that were asked, and like, I mean, the individual that told me about this, you know, up front said that they weren't, you know, they hadn't seen the original films in a few years. You know, they weren't like huge fans, but they enjoyed them. There was a lot of funny parts. Unfortunately, that's what I was going to say too, is I think we're seeing all the funny parts in the trailer.
Yeah.
If they try to make his daughter, that younger black woman, be like a 1980s Eddie Murphy, that sounds terrible.
That's what I got.
I was going to say, because if anyone remembers Eddie Murphy's sort of really early stand-up, right? It was good. It was funny, and he'd do voices and he'd do characters, and it takes like a sort of astronomical amount of chutzpah and confidence to do that. And a young Eddie Murphy could pull it off. I don't want to see a 60-year-old Eddie Murphy doing it. He hasn't done it in years. In Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, he pulled that off, and it worked, and it was funny. But getting a younger woman to try and do that, no way. That's never ever going to work. That's going to be.
Well, for example, I was told, like, okay, if you guys remember the first film, he rolls up in his shitty blue Nova, and to the restaurant, and the concierge comes up, or the valet comes up, and he goes. He hands her the keys. He goes, "Could you park this in a better spot? All this shit happened last time I was here." That is an Eddie Murphy improv. And then from that moment on, him going in and going, "Yes, I'm here to see Mr. Maitland. I went out with him last week, and I come back from the doctors, and I have a herpes simplex 10." That's all Eddie. That is Eddie from top to bottom, just coming in and doing a riff. And that is what made that work. Now they have her trying to do that shit, and I guess it comes off horribly.
Do you remember when Drew Barrymore was married to Tom Green?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And occasionally, I've seen her try and keep up with him, with his completely insane, like make it completely almost like surreal, the way Tom Green was. and she tried to keep up with him, and it was the most cringeworthy thing you've ever seen. It sounds like
I
that.
see where you're going with this.
It sounds like that. Like, don't try and be 1983 Eddie Murphy. You're not going to do it. You're not going to be able to do it.
No, you're 100% correct, and I agree with you, Bo. I know exactly what you mean.
It's not natural. It's performative. Always comes off bad when it's like that.
And here's the other thing. There is out there, you can find it in the ethers, because I have it. There was a pilot shot for a Beverly Hills Cop TV series that CBS didn't go through with, about Eddie and his son. And Eddie Murphy was actually in the pilot. So was some of the other cast. And it just never got picked up. I can't believe they didn't go that route, but I haven't seen it in a while. I don't remember if it's that good or not. I kind of just watched it in kind of the background one day when I found it. But
with everybody they're bringing back, I'm surprised they didn't bring Jenny Summers back.
Jenny Summers, and I'm pretty sure Brian, or what's his face, Cox, the guy who played the original Bogomil's still alive too, but he's like old as fuck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I do like that they got Paul Reiser as his boss now. That's what this confirmed. It confirmed a bunch of other things that they had told me. So I believe the person who saw the actual film. So yeah, and that being said,
nice to see Reiser and stuff again. Nice to see him active.
And he's actually Eddie's boss in this movie too. That's the funny part. Like, he was his little kiss ass in the first two movies. So yeah, that whole opening bit in the trailer, that's the opening of the film. And they're cutting that with stuff from later in the movie to make it look like something else. So you're right. Like, there's a lot of misleading stuff in this trailer.
Bad times. Anyone else want to say it? Because my contribution's a little bit small.
The ending, though, I think people will enjoy, and I hope it's popular enough, because the sequel, I think, is what people are going to want, from what this individual told me.
So they're trying to make a sequel?
Because, okay, for instance, anybody who doesn't want any spoilers whatsoever, cover your ears for about a minute. If you remember the first trailer we saw, where at the end of the movie, at the trailer, it says, it's got Eddie and the two guys sitting in the car, and he's like, I didn't fuck up that much shit, did I? And they're like, yeah, kind of. That is the last shot in the movie, basically setting them up all to get back together for a go around, because they're not together in this movie. That's the thing people need to understand. Billy is kidnapped, and the other guy, Rosewood, his character, or I mean, not Rosewood, Jesus, I just forgot his name. Taggart. He is like a senator or something now. I can't remember what it is, but like, yeah. So like when he goes to visit him, that's like later in the movie too. So like, yeah, the way this movie is set up, the trailer's misleading you into thinking it's more like the first movie.
Fun. Bait and switch. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I looked at some pictures of Ronnie Cox while you guys were talking. Yeah, he is really
Ronnie
old.
Cox. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's in like his 90s now.
86. He was born in 38.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Former President Gerald Ford. He doesn't have his makeup on. He looks different.
Jesus. Right. Well, shall we shuffle on from this now? I think we should. Yeah.